Hello, my name is Mark Anthony Dubose Jr. and I was born July 4th, 1986. Today I want to talk a little bit more about the concept of a hardened heart. A hardened heart, a heart that just, no matter what, you're just not going to change, not going to deviate, you're just going to stay on what you're going to stay on. Something I can say, someone can say to me, well, Mark, your opinions on that Bible, you're not going to change from that. And I will say to you, that is not true. If you come to me and give me the correct information, the correct understanding, the correct new meaning, I've changed my understanding of this Bible many times since I've been making videos out here. That there was a time in the day that I said, you have to live by the law, the commandments, you got to stick to it. And I said, you know what, I was wrong. Because I researched and found out some more information about the fact that that's actually not right. And what I was saying wasn't right. And then it takes a specific person on this planet to actually just admit to the fact that you were wrong. Just say it. And then for me, I just ran into the situation of having to publicly say it in reality, of saying I was wrong. I was wrong. My heart was so hardened on a way, but then I had it in me where I was just like, man, something's not right. Because I would say that every day. Something's not right here. Something's not right. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's happening. And then I had to do some more research and led to a way of understanding, of realizing I was wrong. And my hardened heart was, in reality, pushing me further and further away from God, trusting in Jesus, pushed me further away from Him, further and further away I was getting. Because I was just stuck on, this is what it is, and it's not going to be any other way. And then I have to really just find that research, find that understanding, find those Bible verses and put it together and have a good understanding of what it all is. Not just read a verse and then just say, that's what it is. No, you need to read the whole thing. You need to have a good understanding of the whole thing. The Bible is, again, I'm going to say it's not that long. It's not that much words. It's not that hard of a thing that's going to take you a lifetime to be able to read the whole thing. And you may not understand the whole thing, but at least you'll be able to read it to be able to understand the stories and the timelines and the things that are going on and why things are said and why things are in place and what's going on here. What did God say and what did humans do? What did God want and what did humans change from it? And you're going to not have such a hardened heart because you're actually going to have a full view understanding of what's going on here. Because I was real hardened before I even started reading the Bible at all. Because I was dead set on God's not real. And say the God that wrote this Bible, that's not real. The God that wrote that Quran, that's not real. There's no such thing as a God that has written a text for us to be able to live by, to be able to have a good understanding of. Hey, Johnny, you 100% wrong, homie. Get down. Get down. To have a text to be able to read, to be able to understand who He is. I said that over and over to myself and to other people. I was dead set on that. That was my view of any sort of Christianity, religion, anything in all of it. I was like, that's not right. But yet at the same time, I was like, say, secretly doing a whole lot of research, secretly asking questions. But in the public's view, I was, that's not right, that's wrong. God is against this, He doesn't like this, He's not cool with this, He does this to people, He does that to people. This is a crooked, ruthless, cruel being out here. I want nothing to do with it, absolutely nothing. But I thought that way, my views were that way, because I actually didn't understand Him. I didn't actually read who He was for my own self. I just listened to what other people had to say about it. I listened to the fast ones at first, give me the 1 minute hit quicks of what the Bible is all about. Then it's like, I'm not getting what I need. Then I moved into the guys that are talking about it for 3 minutes, and I'm like, I'm not getting what I need. And then I ended up listening to the people that just talk about it every single day on a day-to-day basis where they talk about it for 3 to 4 hours a day. I consumed my world and just listening to them secretly. I just kept going. Then I started saying to myself, man, I'm listening to these pastors and these preachers talk for hours a day. Why don't I just read the Bible for my own self so that I can figure it out? It just changed these hours from all these people to just read it myself up front so that I can get a good understanding. So when I hear that pastor say that, I understand the whole storyline that's going on here. So when he's talking about a story in the book of Numbers, I'm like, oh, okay. I know everything that was going on before Numbers and what was happening after Numbers, what was going on all in between. So I have a very, very good, clear, concrete understanding. And that's one thing that I'm going to say is stop me from having such a hardened heart. It started to open my heart up to be able to understand that maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the way I'm looking at this Bible is all wrong. Maybe everything that I thought about and all the stories that I was hearing about is just all wrong. Because I was listening to what someone that didn't like it had to say, as opposed to listening to the people. And then, this is a complicated situation. I was listening to people that completely just reject it. We're saying the same stuff as me. It's stupid. It's silly. Why would you need that? You use a stupid little boy if you think that you need a book to be able to live by, to be able to have a good understanding of how to live on this planet. I listened to them. And then their mindset would stay in me. That hardened me real hard. Keep me stuck in that. Not allowing me to even think about opening up to what the actual possibilities are out here. And then when I was secretly reading and researching, doing what I was doing, I was like doubling down on that hardness because I was not finding, say, the answers I was looking for. Because the answers I was looking for, people just weren't talking about. People didn't talk about it. So there's certain questions that I had that no one brought that topic up. I would go to a passage, I forget one of the last ones I was looking at like that I was, people just weren't, they don't talk about the certain questions that certain of us have. That we're like looking for that one answer and like, aha, as soon as I get that, then I'll believe. But I'm gonna tell you here right now, you're still not going to, because you're gonna find that answer and you're still gonna look, oh, see this one over here. You're gonna keep doing that because your heart is hardened. And you're pushing your heart further and further into that because you want to try to escape. You want to try to get away from it. You want to try to think that it's not real because there's something inside of you, I'm telling you, I'm guaranteeing you, it's conflicting you. That's making you, it's letting you know that you probably read something in there that was saying, hey, you shouldn't this and you shouldn't that and you should stay away from this. And you want to reject that. You want to reject it because you know you like doing that. You like it. You like smoking too much. You like drinking too much. You like having 50 girlfriends all the time. You like this stuff. You like just being very loose with yourself. You like talking down. You like slandering. You like gossiping. You like manipulating and cheating people. You like stealing. You like doing all that stuff. It feels good. I'm going to tell you this right now. It does, for sure, feel good to do that. I don't know about you, but I lived a life, a criminal life for a little while in my life. That I turned the age of right after 18 to about the age of 21 years old. I was what you would consider a criminal. Just straight up hardcore crime. I was in and out of jail. I was always getting locked up for this, getting locked up for that. And there's one thing that I would get locked up for a lot, not a lot, but most times was stealing. I liked it. It was the hunt for me. It was so fun. It was just so amazing. It was just so pleasurable to steal. And I started stealing when I was 5 or 6 years old. Small things from gas stations. And then I got caught. My mama caught me the first time. She didn't deal with that. She dealt with that right. But not right enough for me on my love for it. I loved it. I would just do anything possible to just keep stealing more and more. I would go to the track meets and stuff we went to, and I would take stuff from behind the counter while the guy was still standing there. Just how could I get better and better and better at this? I loved it. I loved it. And then I was finally had a car and free and being able to go and do what I wanted. I was on the hunt for anything. I would take a weed whacker. I would take a empty gas can and just say, I just got that because it was fun. It just was fulfilling. And there's a lot of things like that on this planet that breaking a lot of these things that we shouldn't be doing and should be staying away from and treating each other with respect and kindness and greatness. That's not doing that. And going against being nice to others is fun. It can bring you some sort of pleasure. So when someone comes to you and you read something, you're like, I got to stop that. You're gonna say like, well, that's stupid. That's not right. That's not real. This book is fake. Because you have something in you that you know that you're doing. You have something in you that you know that you're fighting so hard to let it go, but you can't let it go. Because you've hardened your heart to a way of just trying to do everything you can to think that the path that you're on is right. And I'm going to tell you that the majority of us, and even me still to today, right now, to the day I die, I'm not on this perfect path. I'll never be. I'm thriving, but I'm going to fail here, there, everywhere along the way. But being able to have a good understanding of realizing that you need to work hard to stay on that path, to go to that path. There's some things that you have to let go, some things that you have to get away from, some things that you have to just completely just run the heck away from. But when you get conflicted in you, when you're just like, no, I don't believe that, you've hardened yourself to just try to stick with what you think is right, as opposed to what someone else would accept as right. A lot of times we're living out here. That's something that is very interesting, of the concept of something I've been doing a lot of research on about these whole spiritual gifts and spiritual likeness and things like that. The gift's not for me. What I do here, sitting here, speaking about this God that I keep on talking about, it's not for me. It's for somebody else. It's for me to be able to say something to somebody else, something that I'm going to say that I was pretty good at my whole life, is being able to communicate. I didn't speak a lot, but the people that I spoke to, you know that I was speaking to you. And I'm able to just communicate very, very efficiently. I'm able to just put speeches together somehow, some way. I've been doing that since I had thought in my brain. I was the kid that didn't start talking. The only reason I started talking, the first time I spoke was in kindergarten. I didn't speak to my parents until I was almost way past 5 years old. I didn't speak to anybody. I was a silent kid. And the reason I remember my first words that I spoke, because some kid was making fun of my mom. And you know, that's back in the early 90s. Your mama jokes. It was serious back then. You ain't talk about my mom. Who the heck are you to talk about my mom? Because one of the kids was talking about my mom. They was talking about my mom, and then kids started talking again about my mom because she actually worked at the school, was helping out lunch times because she wanted to be closer to her kids and show more. And I was like, who the heck are you to talk about my mom? And she's here. She's doing everything she can to be around me and be with me. And that was the first time I spoke up, and I said words outside of my mouth, and I shut the whole classroom up. And since then, I had no issues with a single student the entire time I ever went to school. I went to a tough school. They just fought. Your way of being able to be a tough boy, or they call it man back then, of being a 5-year-old man, but was you got to fight. Everybody had to fight. It was hand fist fighting, and whoever won, okay, now you're on to that next one. I never had to fight because of the words that I was able to say. That was enough for me to be able to get out of that situation. And that hardened me even more in reality, to push me, to make me think that I am the one that's right. I am the one that is good to go. I am the one that knows it all. Not realizing that the path that I'm on and what I was doing was completely wrong. And then I would read a Bible or hear someone say to me like, you know, Mark, or hey, Anthony, you shouldn't be doing that. Who the heck are you? What is that guy going to do to me? It's just a book. It's not real. What's going to happen to me? And then later through time, I start to realize like, maybe things are happening to me because of what I was doing, because of how I was acting. Maybe the reason that I'm here right now, living 37 years old, out here, none of my kids around me, no wife around me, just no friends around me, no family around me, no nothing around me. No one that even in reality wants to communicate with me, is because of how hard I was and a way that God is moving me to be able to have a good understanding of realizing that it's not me. It's not me. I'm not the supreme being on this planet, that it's God. And I was reading and hearing things that God's got to say and just completely pushing away and rejecting it and saying, no, I got this. I'm good to go. And if I got this and I'm good to go, why am I in the situation that I'm in right now? It makes me really think a lot, real hard. Real hard, makes me think real hard. If I knew it all and I had all the right answers and I knew that God wasn't real, and that God, because he said this one verse right here, and I'm not going to believe in it, that if I knew it all, why would I be set up in the situation I am right now? Why wouldn't I be in what I would more think of today as a more blessed position of actually having my family around, of actually having my children around, of actually having a wife around, of actually having friends around. But no, I have the complete opposite of that, because I thought that I was that supreme being, that I was that one, because I just completely rejected. And I stuck on that and I stayed by that. And then I would listen and hear more and more people communicate about how God is no good and how God is fake. And my heart was real hard. I was just completely rejecting. But I ended up at a point where, for me personally, I would never want the next person to have to ever experience that point of absolute just the lostness. Absolute lost. Losing, a car or a house or something like that is one thing. But when you start losing all of the people in your life, you end up in a situation that you just start to question, and you start to just hits you. You hit that wall, and that wall, you just slap it and just say, I'm a meaningless, worthless, pointless being on this planet. Or let's get down. I'm just absolutely nothingness. I'm just no good. And it had to hit me, and I had to break down to the point of realizing that maybe this that I've been rejecting so much, so harshly, was something that I actually did need. I actually needed it. And I ran from it because I enjoyed the things I was doing. I enjoyed the stealing. I enjoyed the breaking. I enjoyed the manipulation. I enjoyed mistreating. I enjoyed being jealous and being envious. I used to be super envious over people. I wouldn't say it straight to your face, but behind closed doors, that's what I was thinking. How the heck did they get this? And how did they get that? How are they able to do this? How are they able to do that? And I pushed myself into a point that I was just absolutely nowhere. And then I started to have to build myself back up again. And then for me, I had to do some people make a deal with the devil. I guess I could say I already did that from the age of like 3 years old, since I can remember. Because I did some things in my life that, I won't even talk about. There's no reason to even talk about that. I've done some really, really interesting stuff in my lifetime. But then I had to make a deal with someone who can actually help. Because the deal with that situation wasn't giving me the relief that I was looking for. It was only just making it worse. It was giving me like these short-term little feel-goods. I feel good for a month or 3, and I'll go right back down to nothingness. I feel good for a day or 2, go right back down to just worthlessness. I feel good for a year or 3. I had a time that I was on some medication that the doctors gave me when I was getting out of the military that made me pretty good for a couple of years. But then something happened. It started messing up my body. It started messing up my body to the point that it still messes me up today. That it was something that was so strong and so devastating to me that it is going to be more likely one of the things that I'm going to have a problem with for the remainder of my life, because it's something I chose to do and chose to be a part of because of my just disobedience. And it's gonna always affect me. And that sucks. So I had to make a deal with someone, something, somehow to be able to get out of that, and how to be able to get a longer term, not just long-term success of, hoo-hoo, here we go, we're good to go, but something that I don't need to depend upon anything other than this source, the source of God, the source of Jesus. I don't need to depend on any item. I don't need to depend on my craftiness to go out there and steal. I don't need to depend on my craftiness of going out and manipulating people to get what I want. I don't need to depend on my craftiness to be able to take some sort of drugs or some sort of medications or any kind of alcohol or use anybody. That I can not do any of that. I can stop finally punishing myself, hurting myself, damaging myself, like physically harming myself. I'm not much of a person that used to cut himself, but I would do things that are extremely similar. I would do things of trying to end it all. I would sit in garages with the car running. Just, I'm dead. I don't care to be here. I would take an extreme amount of medications. I'm going to take it and I'm going to sleep and I'm not waking up. I would do things like that to try and just get this relief gone. But I didn't want to have to use and do something like that. I wanted to just be able to not have any sort of outside things other than a God to be able to fulfill me. And that's when I pleaded and said, hey, I need you. I want you. I'm desiring you. And then my heart got a little less hardened on one day, on one night, when I just finally just accepted my defeat, that I'm not able to do this on my own. As much as I thought that I was going to be able to, as much as I thought that I was winning and I was succeeding, because that's what everyone from the outside would look with me. Everyone on the outside would say, hey, Mark, you got some nice stuff, man. I always had nice stuff. Always flashy looking. Always got the best looking car on the street. Always the cleanest. You never have a cleaner car than me, ever. Everything was always just set up so perfect, so right, so amazing, so just always looked so good. Always. And people would always say that, but in reality, everything on the inside of me was just absolutely destroyed. Absolutely destroyed. So I asked God, I pleaded with God. I said, hey, God, I need this. I need you to do this for me. I need to make something happen here. I need to make something happen to the point that I can't do it. I thought I could do it. And then something happened. And then I got to the point of realizing that there must be a God on this planet. And there must be a God on this planet that is not here to just ignore you, but at the same time, he's not here to even remember what you used to do. He forgives that. He lets that go. He drops that. He brings you into a new realm of living, a new realm of life. He brings you into a new understanding of existence. He gets you to get away from that the tragedy that you're in and not even worry about it anymore, but let's move forward. And that's something that is absolutely amazing, I'm going to say. Because the person that I used to be and what I used to do, I don't deserve the grace that God has given me. I don't deserve this book for me to be able to read, to be able to understand. I don't deserve it at all. I don't deserve to be able to have the opportunity to be able to sit here and speak about it based on things that I've done. Things that I've done to my brother, my sister, my parents, any girl in any relationship I've been with in the past, my kids. I don't deserve to be alive today with some things that I've done. I don't deserve to be here at all in any sort of way. But that's where I'm going to say is the grace of God to be able to allow me and to give me a chance to be able to allow me to move forward and do something different, to be about something different. Everything wasn't just I did, but some things happened to me that kind of drove me more into insanity. But in reality, if I wasn't trying to be that supreme being, that wouldn't have happened. I wouldn't have allowed that to happen. I would have just quit it before it even got to a bad situation. But some circumstances, I'm just like, I got a couple of kids out of the situation, so some things are okay, I guess, in the end, regardless of what was going down. But still, it's like, today, I know not even to start that situation with specific people on this planet, because all they're doing is trying to feed into your issues. And that's just me being a very, very hardened person, thinking I know how to do this, I know how to handle this, instead of going to prayer and saying, hey, God, is this what I should actually be doing? Is this where I should be going? Because there's amazing stories about that in the Bible, where every time, I don't want to say every time, but every time that they forget to pray and ask about it, they run into a sticky situation. And they should have just stopped. Someone came to them, they should have stopped and said, hey, God, is this what we should be doing? Is this where we should be going? And then God would give them that confirmation of, yeah, man, this is what we need. This is where I want you to go. That's something that the Bible is just lessons of how we should be functioning and moving in our life on a day-to-day basis. It's not here to try to destroy you or sabotage you or enslave you. It's to bring you into an absolute mass level of freedom. That yes, I can, and anybody can, pick and choose a verse here and there. Oh, see, God is just all bad right here. You're going to take one verse out of the thousands that are in there to say that how bad something is? I'm sorry, but if I'm looking at a situation where I've got 1 out of 100, 100 are leaning one way and there's one that's this one way, I have no choice but to just lean towards that 100. I'm not going to ignore that one though. I'm going to know and see and recognize that it's there. But I'm going to have a real good understanding of what the context is about that one, as opposed to the other 100 that's out there. So for me, today, I have a very hardened heart in a different way. A hardened heart for God, because I have yet to find someone to tell me anything different and show me anything different than what I believe and hit me with anything different to get me to stumble and fumble on what it is that I'm able to, say, fact check my own self to have a good understanding of. And I'm not just some guy that just is just Perry chicken and reading the Bible for 5 minutes a day. No, I'm doing this 5, 6, 7, 8 hours a day, sometimes more. I'm just constantly listening, constantly studying. I'm constantly doing this all the time. So I'm not just I don't know and I'm not sure. I'm not a person that really wants to speak and read from the Bible, because I'm not a pastor. I'm not a preacher. I'm not a minister. I'm not a teacher. I'm just not that. And maybe at some point in my life I would be that, but I'm definitely not that. I'm nowhere near having the right understanding to be able to do such a thing and be such a thing. I'm nowhere near having the right backing behind me to be able to do such a thing. So I'm not here to teach you what all these stories in reality are. I'll talk about it a little bit, but I'm not here to break it down word for word. That's the job of a minister, of a preacher. That's not me. I'm just a simple, regular human being that's just talking a message of what it is that I've come to believe. And my regularness of human being had me such a hardened heart. I had to make it so that I had to do excessive amount of studying and research to make sure that what it is that I'm speaking about today is something that I want to continue to keep on speaking about. So that when someone does try to come at me with hey, what about this? And hey, what about that? I can say, well, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. I see what's going on here. But you're not going to get me to get off, because I have a very, very good understanding of the whole thing, not just a little bit of it. And that's the beauty of being an excessive researcher, because you have to really just, you're going to spend your whole life in it. You're going to spend all of your time in it. That's what I do. This past 2 years of my life, in reality, I've spent my entire days, my entire existence on just studying and listening to preachers, listening to ministers, listening to the Bible itself, reading books about it, just what I'm constantly doing. And I enjoy it. I enjoy it because it's been able to bring me an extreme level of success to be able to live and be able to manage and be able to maintain myself on this planet. It's been able to transform my life in such an absolutely amazing way. In a way that I'm saying that sometimes I can't really put words to it. But a lot of times we stay in these hardened states because we're getting this confliction in us that we know we shouldn't be doing this. But it feels good. There's something about these things of this land that this Bible tells us not to do that I'm telling you, it feels good. It's nice. It's nice to just hook up with a girl every other weekend. It's nice. It's pretty fun. It's pretty cool and all at the same time. You know, just being able to figure out how to be able to say all the right words, to be able to get her, to be able to just mold her in, to just like, you know, you got to do it all right. Take it to the right dinners, send the right texts, the right phone calls at the right time, sweet talking them. It's a fun game. It's super fun. It's really fun. It's really fun to put a plan together, figure out how to be able to take something from one of my neighbors. I see it out there every day when I drive by. I'm putting a plan of like, yeah, I come here, I could do this, I could drop this, I could make that. And that's fun, man. It's super fun. It's really entertaining. It could really just take up an entire day of yours to just think of plans of how to steal something from somebody. It's really, when you get in it, you just get excited about it. Same way with slandering somebody. That's really fun. It's super fun to just get on the phone and just talk bad about somebody just because. Just because. You actually even like the person. You're cool with the person, but you just want to talk so bad about them just because. It's fun to do. It's just like uplifting to your own soul. And then especially with certain things that are, say, criminal today, if you couldn't get caught, oh my goodness, you would be on board and just keep doing it more and more and more. But at the same time, it being criminal is also what makes it even more exciting. Figuring out how to be able to take that car without anybody even being able to notice. Figuring out how to be able to take that car while that person is in that car and get that car out of here without anybody being able to see it. There's something about it being illegal that actually makes it really, really exciting at the same time. I know, I've been there. I used to do that. I used to be about that. My mind used to just focus on that. Because instead of focusing on how deeply damaged I actually truly was inside, that focusing on that would make me escape from my problems. It pushed it over there. And then I had to realize, like, that's not giving me the freedom that I'm looking for. It's not bringing me anything, but just troubles over and over. And I was just starting off from taking small things to getting up to the point of we're starting to take cars now. We're starting to make big things disappear. And then me being me, I'd be like, I would go into, we taking houses at this point. How can I get someone kicked out of their own house so that I could take it and sell it and make the money off of it? That's the schemes that I was going through as a young kid. Just doing some crazy stuff. But it was fun. It was fun. But then you read something that says, hey, you shouldn't be doing this. And then you're just like, I don't believe in that. That's stupid. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I want that. I want to be able to hang out with all the girls all the time. I want to be able to do that. I'm not going to stop that. That Bible's stupid. That God is not real. And God says, okay, just do what you do then. And it starts off with you harden your own heart. And then how he does it with the Pharaohs is he starts to harden his heart. So he started it, and then God just finishes it for him and just lets him see and realize, like, that you're digging your own ditch here, man. You're digging your own grave. You're struggling, you're hurting, you're damaged, you're destroyed. Your own self. No one else is doing it to you. Your own self is doing it to you. And that's the power of what we are as human beings and what we're capable of doing. But God wants to get us out of that. God wants us to stop digging down and start building up. He wants us to build up to the point of being able to relax and have some sort of a sense of just get the shame out and get the agony out and get the pain out and get the frustration and the anger out. Get the ruthlessness out, get the envy out, get all these things out of us so that we can finally just be able to move forward with not having to worry about destroying and being a nuisance to others, but how can I actually help and provide to others? Because that's what the Bible brings. Running from it, staying from it, brings problems to others. But staying firm with it and talking it and trying to get more people to understand it is getting people to help people with their problems. That's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing that I 100% know is 100% fact with having a good understanding of that Bible. That since I actually read it and was going through it, and since I actually study it all the time, all day long, I'm realizing things in it that are not what people are trying to tell me it to be. Of course, look, that's what you can say about your circle of friends or who you are, right? So my circle of friends were thieves. My circle of friends were burglars. My circle of friends were stealing cars. My circle of friends were beating people up. So my circle of friends are constantly telling me that Bible is no good, that Bible is fake. So that's the information I'm getting. And I had to get out of that circle of friends to find a new circle of friends to be able to get myself to understand the real truth. So I lost that circle of friends to move into a new circle of friends. And the new circle of friends just were, in reality, just another one of the things I shouldn't be doing. I just kept going from that to the next group, the next group, to the next group. I never went to a circle of friends that were just Bible-believing people. Never. That never even crossed my mind. That never even came to me as even being an opportunity. I never did that. But if I would have did that, I would have definitely had a different understanding of what's going on. Because the people that are totally against it, they're going to keep on giving you those passages that are just see, and I read it and I'm like, oh, see, that is right. As opposed to like that person being able to give you 100 passages and say, see, this is why that right there that you read is incorrect. And in this here, we link it with this, we link it here, we link it with that, we link it here. See that right there, that's why. Then I'll be like, oh, man, I've been lied to my whole life. Why are people lying to me? Because that being in sin, living in the flesh of the land, living in the world, living in your body is very easy and it's fun. It's fun for the short term, but it's not fun for the long term of what it is that we're all about out here. And that's for not all. I really do know. It's not all that this Bible is for. It's not all that this Bible is called into you. Only some. And it's for those some to be able to just accept that and be able to move forward with it and be able to try to get the others to have a better understanding of it. Especially, that's the main thing that I'm going to say is what a lot of people say is a negative thing about the YouTube. Like, oh, I don't want to do it. You know, my family's going to see me. My family's going to that. My family's going to hear me talking about Jesus. And they know who I was and they know what I was all about. And they saw me and how they're not going to agree with you because they know who you are. It's like what Jesus said. He didn't preach in his hometown. He couldn't. He had to move on. But yet the people in his hometown saw him, knew about him, and figured out what he was doing. So there's something that's very powerful about that. Because you change your heart. You start to get accepted to God. Then all your old friends all your old family, everyone around is going to start to see you and just say like, what's going on with that? And that sparks a little bit of a spark. And that's what I'm here to do, is start a little spark in you. Get you to think a little bit. Like maybe something is going on here. Because I knew that dude. That dude was crazy. We used to be at night. We was taking hacksaws to chains and taking stuff and we was throwing it in the back of vans and throwing it on. We was stealing trailers to do this and do that and take stuff and we was out there. That's the Mark that I know. But this guy here that's talking, who the heck is that? It gives you a little bit of a spark. What's he listening to and doing? Because I know what he was all about before. How the heck did he get out of that? How did he change from that? And that's a beautiful thing. It's an absolutely beautiful thing. That's why more and more people that have a good understanding of what Jesus has done for you in your life is to get up and speak about it, tell as many people as you can about it. Because everyone knows who you used to be and what you used to do, how things used to go down in your life, how you used to just be drinking all the time. You couldn't get out of it. You were losing jobs. You were losing opportunities. You were losing daytime. You lost your kids. You lost everything. But yet something happened to you. Jesus came into your life and now you're transformed. Don't be scared. Don't be shy. Stand up and yell about that. Say, hey, this happened to me. And I just want to explain that to somebody, that it's helping me and it's still helping me. And it's helping me in such a fast track way that it's allowing me to be able to move somewhere that I've never ever been in my entire life before. It's been able to take the stronghold of just negativity out of me and allowing me to be able to move somewhere different. It's allowing me to be able to be extremely patient with people and very, very willing to help. Even knowing that they're trying to damage. I'm cool with you. I know what your game plan is, to try to stumble me and make me fumble, but it's the power of God that I'm going to say that doesn't allow his people to be able to be stumbled. That's the main, one of the main verses. I got to memorize where this is at. But one of the main things that I really, really love that said is when you're persecuted and you get locked up, do not try to pre-think what you're about to say to the judge. Just blank slate it. When you get there, the Holy Spirit is gonna guide you in speaking what it is that you need to say. And that's the way that I look at everything today. That I'm not gonna come at no one that's trying to jam me up, no one that's trying to beat me down, no one that's trying to just mistreat me. I'm not gonna speak, I'm just gonna hold that back. And then I'm gonna allow the Holy Spirit to be able to speak out what needs to be said. Because it's not me, it's the gift that we all have for other people. It's the gift to be able to speak to somebody. Every single video that I've ever made is speaking to somebody. Somebody. It's not even so much as speaking to an entire crowd. It's speaking to somebody. It's one person. One person that's just I'm saying that you need to hear. And that sparks that little thing in you to get that hardened heart away, to finally just like, let me look that up. This guy keeps talking about these passages here and this stuff. Let me look that up for my own self. And then you start reading it. And then you just find a whole new revelation of life of like, I never knew that was even in that Bible. And that's going to constantly keep happening for a whole lot of people on this planet. That you had no idea that wasn't even in there. You had no idea that story was even there. You had no idea that was even going on. You had no idea. You had no idea that like father, like son, they trying to pass off their wives as just act like my sister. You had no idea that there was some silly madness like that going on. Just so that they could feel like they could stay alive. Because they were unsure. They were scared of where they were headed to because they knew that the people that they were going to were savage. So they were trying to figure out how to be able to dance around some stuff. You had no idea a lot of these stories that are going on in this book that are just all about what we're all about nowadays and what we do and how we act. Then you can read a story, then you can go to work and be like, man, Fred and Jane at work were doing that same thing. It's like, I hear you. And you had no idea that was even in that Bible. It's a fascinating book because you're going to pick it up and you're going to read it and you're going to see something. You're going to find something. And you're going to say like, what I've been learning about this and what people have been telling me about this is not the reality of what's actually going on in here. And that's why it's an interesting thing and a challenging thing today of being able to make sure that we're staying away from people that are not preaching the message of what that Bible is. That God is Jesus. God is the Holy Spirit inside of us. And God is God that created this. There's many people out there that just want to completely dance around that topic to make it seem like everybody's inclusive and everything's okay. There's people out here that are dancing and every single religion is good to go. Then that states that the whole purpose of Jesus is meaningless then. So they all can't be real. Because otherwise Jesus is nothing. And if Jesus is nothing, then God has done nothing for his people. So there has to only be one route here going on. But there's a lot of people out there that are saying this, and pushing this, and doing this. And then you start reading it for yourself, and you're just like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Oh, God made us in our image. Who the heck is the R here? How many people are going on here? And then it starts to explain it more and more later on as you keep on going. So pick up the book and start reading some stuff. And stop going off what somebody has to say about it, about one this and one that, and they hit you with a verse, and this is why I don't believe in the Bible. Because of one verse, you don't believe in the Bible? To me, I don't know how to say that in not a disrespectful way, but that's so childish. That's so silly. That's so small thinking like. Not being an intelligent human, that's something that my dog would do. That's not what we as a human being would do. Say, I'm going to reject the entire thing of this book because one or two verses in there say this. Because I don't believe in that, so it says this. It doesn't matter what you believe. It doesn't matter what you think. Because you don't know all the answers. You're just a simple human being that's lived a small time life on this planet. I don't care if you live to 120 years old. That is nothing compared to what this planet is. That is nothing compared to God. And you're going to say that you know better than what God is because of your life experience? That's silly. That is so silly to me. That is so small thinking to me. And that's why for me, I don't know what it is. But I want to be able to help that person out like crazy. To say, get out of your feelings, get out of your flesh. Get out of what you think is right and get into what is right. And you will start to be able to find what it is that you're looking for. And that's the one thing that I pray for humanity. Don't just believe overnight and just accept it. No, study it, research it, figure it out, ask about it, pray about it, and dig deep in it. And I'm telling you, when you go that route, you're going to have no choice but to just accept it. Because you're going to keep on reading some stuff and keep on finding some stuff. Get the heck away from, listen to both sides here. Listen to people that completely reject it. And listen to people that are completely on board with it. And then find people that are just right in the middle with it. I'm right in the middle. You could sway me off if you give me evidence and prove to me that what I'm talking about, what I think is wrong. I will definitely go that route. I've done that many times, and I publicly have even stated that my own self, that I will change based on what it is that I actually find to be the reality as opposed to what my feelings is feeling for it to be. That I will accept any information that says that I'm wrong. If somebody shows me something in the sky and this isn't real, that there's actually a human being that's controlling this whole thing and we're all just here, then I'll just say, hey, that just is what it is. This book is silly then. It's a cool little story for us to be able to get a little excitement or a little pissed off at the same time. But if you show me that proof, then cool. But if you can't show me that proof and show me those texts and show me that information, then there's nothing that's going to change what it is that I see. Just because you feel a certain way is not going to change what I think and what I feel. I don't care what you feel. I care what is real and I care what is right. I care what is there for us to be able to study and be able to research. And I'm not going to change my world because of how a person feels on this planet. That's just not going to happen. And that's what we got a lot going on today. That we're a lot of people getting pushed back because of the trans stuff going on, because of the gay and lesbian stuff going on, because of the puberty blockers and all this going on. That people are dancing around it because they don't want to hurt your feelings. No, I'm gonna hurt your feelings. This stuff's all wrong. It is what it is. And today I just want to say thank you for a very interesting week. Started off a little rocky and finishing off getting a whole lot better and a whole lot nicer, and a lot more peace and a lot more just me understanding. I've been asking, God, where am I going in the future? And to me, I feel like that's starting to be able to become revealed to me. It's being revealed to me slowly and surely, and I'm working upon myself to be able to get to that point. And I greatly be able to appreciate where it is that I know that I'm going to be going in the future. For me, at some point, I will be a teacher of this Bible and be able to help out people in such a more substantial way compared to what it is that I'm doing today. Today, I'm learning. I'm still growing. I'm still figuring it out. I'm still trying to get the I'll never know it all, but get the faith is where I'm still getting there. Realizing that I do know it because God knows it. I don't know it, but God knows it. And God can be able to speak it through me when I need to be able to say it. And when I need to say it and how I need to say it, to be able to make sure that I'm getting through to you the right way. And I'm thankful for being able to know and realize and recognize that that's what's going on in my life, is just learning, teaching, growing, to be able to get to the point of being able to help out some more people. That there's going to come a time of day that some folks are going to need some help. Just me, just this week, just ordering some more baby chicken. I got enough chicken already. I already got like 300 of them out here. I'm ordering some more to be able to do some more, to be able to help out some more. And I'm being pushed in a way to keep on doing that, to be able to show the power of what God's all about. And I'm thankful to be able to be out here and continue to keep doing that. And I know, and I'm happy and I'm excited to be able to be a person one day, to be able to help someone out, because I like being asked questions, and I like being able to give the answers. And if the answers you don't want to accept it and agree with it, I gave you the start for you to be able to continue to research off from, because I was in that scenario myself. That's what I like about this YouTube stuff. You can ask questions. Ask questions. Send me emails. Send me messages. And I can ask, and I can do what I can. I will spend my day, extra times in my day, to just make sure that I get back to you. That alone is something that when I would see people do that, I'm just like, man, you crazy, man. To write back one email, that takes an hour. And it takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of effort. So for someone to take their time out to just help one person out, that's impressive. That's impressive. And I want to be able to be that person, to be able to do that, so that I can get that next person to want to do that, and the next person to want to do that, so that we have many, many more people out here that are willing to help out people to find the answers that they're looking for. Thank you.